Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for a community briefing. Up first today, we have Mayor Sarah Karen.
Thank you. Today is April 17th, 2020. In our state, we have 1,411 cases of COVID today and 7 deaths. Cottington County remains the same with 13 cases and 11 having recovered. The state started adding the number of negative tests on their website. So we have a total of 343 negatives in Cottington County, which means that 3.65% of the tests we've done in Cottington County have been positive. The rest have been negative. Statewide, that number is 12.76% positive. So I just want to remind people, if you have the symptoms of COVID-19, you should call your healthcare provider and see if you qualify for testing. The symptoms are a fever of 100.4 degrees, a cough, and shortness of breath. Call first before going in to see your healthcare provider. A helpful symptom checker is available on the state website at covid.sd.gov. Brown Clinic, Garcia Family Clinic, the Quick Care Clinic, and Sanford Clinic all offer telehealth visits. So you can call and find out how to take part in that. Furthermore, the Quick Care Clinic and Sanford Clinic also offer curbside testing and after-hours acute care. So the after-hours times would be at Sanford. Their normal hours are 4:30 to 8:30 Monday through Friday, and then 8:30 to 1 p.m. on Saturday and 1 to 5 on Sunday. At the Quick Care Clinic, their hours are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, the Prairie Lakes Healthcare System emergency room is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As far as our mask project is going, we are doing very well. I'm happy to say we are almost halfway to our goal of 4,000 masks in our community. These are the cloth masks that people are sewing, so that's really awesome. Thank you for everyone who's participating in that, and we can still use some more masks. If you're sewing masks, you can drop them off at the Salvation Army, and if you need materials to sew the masks, you can pick those up at the Cottington County Emergency Management Office. Their phone number is 882-6272. We are prepared in this community. There's nowhere else I would rather live. And right now I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Stephanie Traversi from Human Service Agency. She's the Youth and Family Mental Health Clinical Coordinator. Stephanie?
Thank you. As the mayor said, my name is Stephanie Traversi. I am here today to talk to you about how to help children cope in the quarantine. So since this COVID virus began, we have been hearing a lot of information in the news, and sometimes that can feel like we're trying to survive in a zombie apocalypse video game, where maybe we're not really dodging zombies, but we are trying to dodge this invisible virus. That can leave us feeling like we are in survival mode, and survival mode impacts our brain, and we start to feel a lot of tension and stress, and that can impact our ability to sleep. It can impact our ability to maintain a good positive mood, and it can leave us feeling helpless. So I want to talk about 5 potential signs of distress. So parents, are your children snapping at you? They might be more irritable. They might have a least likely they might not want to listen to instruction. They might not want to join your activities, but those are manifestations of fear and anxiety. Are they falling into old behaviors, regressing? Maybe children are having tantrums. Maybe they're playing with toys that they hadn't played with before. Common coping mechanisms can be behavioral and emotional outbursts, but not physical or verbal aggression. So if you're seeing these things, these are signs to be worth watching for and reaching out for help if you need that. Sleeping or eating patterns could change. Are they eating more than usual? Now, because of the nature of being home all the time, maybe they are eating a little bit more, but you want to watch for drastic changes. Eating a lot more than usual, eating a lot less than usual, becoming unusually picky. Are they overdoing screen time? Again, because we're distance learning, the nature will be that they are on screens a lot more, but what you want to watch for is, are they avoiding family connection? Are they spending time in their rooms isolating with their screens? If kids are using their screen times to relax and have fun, that's great. But if they're using it as a form of isolation, it could be depression, and avoiding family time is a big, big cue. Are your kids clinging to you a lot? Sometimes this can happen just because you're spending a lot more time together now in the home, but what you want to watch for is overly clinging. Maybe you can't leave the room. Maybe you cannot use the bathroom alone. Maybe they don't want you to leave the house to go get groceries. Those are signs of sadness, maybe frustration, and certainly stress. So I brought a book that I wanted to read a little bit of because I felt like it was very reminiscent of what we're going through. It says, "For people just waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting." And I think that's kind of how everybody's feeling. So how do you know how to answer questions and concerns of your children? Number one, you want to validate their feelings, letting them know that you understand what they're feeling. Give concise, honest, and age-appropriate answers. Part of kids' struggles is that we adults are struggling in this time also. So we are capable of managing this. And how I know this is because we have figured out how to split an atom. We have put men on the moon. So we are capable of handling this, but what we can't manage is not having accurate information. So our kids are very smart, and they refuse to rely on rosy projections. Science and health experts are what we should be relying on, and this is more difficult, but it's based in reality. Distance learning. This has been difficult for some families and children also. This is a guideline that I found while doing research on recommendations of distance learning and time. This recommendation comes out of the Illinois State Board of Education, and it might help to manage emotional and behavioral outbursts if that's what you're experiencing. So for pre-K, pre-kindergarten, their recommendation is 20 minutes a day and a maximum of 60 minutes a day. Kindergarten is 30 minutes a day and a maximum of 90 minutes a day. First and second graders, 45 minutes a day and a maximum of 90 minutes a day. Third, fourth, and fifth graders, 60 minutes a day minimum, a maximum of 120 minutes a day. This can be considered of all classes. 6th to 8th grade class, 90 minutes a day to 180 minutes a day per class. 9th through 12th graders, 120 minutes a day to 270 minutes a day per class. Some of the activities that can address mind, body, spirit, environment, and family include, for the mind, reading independently or having someone read to you, maybe audiobooks, puzzles, word searches, writing a story, journaling, building with Legos and blocks, listening to a podcast or watching a documentary. Body, walking, dancing, exercises, focusing on gross and fine motor activities, stretching, yoga, playing a sport. For younger kids, if you have a balloon, sometimes it's fun to just try to see how long you can keep it off the ground and how many times you can pass it back and forth. For spirit, listening to music, singing a song, play, creative arts, meditating, color, drawing, and painting. For the environment, cleaning your room, organizing a drawer, taking age-appropriate chores for children, fixing something broken, scavenger hunts, taking care of pets or plants, cooking or baking. And for family time, playing a board game, writing a letter to someone, telling jokes or riddles, maybe taking a garbage bag and going to a park and seeing if you can clean it up with wearing gloves, of course. building a fort and telling stories inside of it. Lastly, remember that in crisis there is opportunity. Anytime that there is a loss, grief loss, whether it's a loss of a job, loss of finances and income, loss of hours at work, loss of a loved one, or just hearing the stories of loss around the world, there is meaning to be found, and that's the key to getting through grief, is finding a meaning, because that empowers us to find a way to keep moving forward. Parents, use this time that you have as a redo. If there's been times when you've said, I wish I had an extra hour in the day or another day in the week because I wanted to spend time with my kids, or I wanted to teach them this or go do that, this is the time to use that. This is your redo. What do you want that to look like? What do you want that to be like for you and your family? Now is your chance, because we will get back to a new normal, and because we are a resilient, strong people together. And so in closing, the last part of this book is the best. On and on you will hike, and I know you'll hike far and face up to your problems, whatever they are. You'll get mixed up, of course, as you already know. You'll get mixed up with so many strange birds as you go. So be sure when you step with care and great tact, and remember that life's a great balancing act. Just never forget to be dexterous and deft, and never mix up your right foot with your left. And will you succeed? Yes, you will, indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Kids, adolescents, adults, families, we will move mountains. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Tim Sheehan with the Watertown Area Chamber of Commerce, here with an update and a lot of thank yous on yesterday's gift card radiothon. First of all, I'd like to thank the 1,600 people who went onto our website and purchased over 9,000 $25 gift cards. That's an average of $166 per card. And last night I read on Facebook, someone said if you line up 9,000 gift cards end to end, that it would stretch over a half a mile. So I went and did the math, and of course they were right. So if I started at the Chamber of Commerce and laid those gift cards end to end, it would go all the way down to Page's Place. And that's pretty remarkable, I thought. And then as of this morning, actually as of about an hour ago when I ran the report, another $12,000 in gift cards had been purchased. And that's another 132 feet. I thought that was pretty remarkable too. A lot of thank yous. First of all, I'd like to start off with our 3 radio station general managers and owners. Bob Fain with KXLG. Huge thank you. Brenda Rorvik and her 6 stations over at Watertown Radio. And Jeff Kurtz. Together we worked hard yesterday. Your announcers were spot on. They did a lot of call-ins, a lot of remotes. And we really appreciate all they did to make this really happen. One more time, I'd like to thank all of our matching sponsors who put $35,000 out of their business into this project. Crestone Builders, the Great Western Bank, the Watertown Development Company, Dakota Bank, Todd and Lynn Morris with the Realty Company, Watertown Ford Chrysler, Moffitt Products, Relia Bank, Wind Supply, Plains Commerce Bank, Farmers Implement and Irrigation, Hy-Vee, and Pivotal Health Solutions. For those people wondering where their cards will be at, we will get the information to the businesses, and they're actually going to mail those out to you. We hope to have them in your hands by May 1st, and at that time, when you open up your envelopes, that's when you'll know if you were lucky enough to get some of that $35 or $35,000 in matching funds. A plan for the weekend, we've got 3 more days of this up until Sunday night at midnight. We still have $2,000 in chamber bucks out there, so anybody that purchases a gift card or gift cards of over $100, your name will be put in the drawing for 2 $500 packages of chamber bucks and also 10 $100 in chamber bucks. That's it. What's all I have, but we do have something coming up in May and June, or May or June, another project like this, similar to, so be listening to us on the radio and watching our Facebook page. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to all our presenters today. Do we have any questions from the media?
Question for Mayor Sarah Karen. Obviously, Dan Chrysler from the PO. Obviously, new category added today was the negative test per county. Was this something that the Unified Command Team was aware of prior to publication, and how might the public revelation of that data might be used going forward?
Well, I think it's interesting to note, and no, I didn't know beforehand. I'm on the Unified Command Team. I discovered it when I went just before noon to see what our numbers were, that there was a new category in there. And I'm glad to see that because people have been asking, well, how many tests are we doing? So now we know. And I'm assuming that they're tracking the state tests. We are sending some to private labs too, so it might not include that, but it gives us a ballpark. And our number being low, the number of positives is low, I think that's remarkable too, because they only test people that appear to have COVID, and only, well, less than 4% of those who are tested are coming back positive. That's a pretty good indication that this really hasn't hit our community yet.
Okay. And then obviously the big news in the state this week, I mean, in addition to Sioux Falls, but obviously Smithfield announced that they were closing indefinitely to kind of curb. Their CEO kind of warned, I think in national publications, that those measures, while necessary, could disrupt the supply chains of the nation. Is that a concern you share or anything like that?
It is a concern, and you know, I hope they're back up and running soon, and I think they will be, but time will tell. I think it's interesting to note there was a kind of a desperate plea from the mayor of Sioux Falls to let our big employers know that they should be working on this. Don't wait for it to happen to them. Well, our manufacturers have been meeting for weeks, and they're working together. They have been working together for quite a long time and figuring out what they should be doing and what measures they should be taking so that we don't have something like this happening here. So I think we're probably better prepared, and it's, you know, hindsight when everyone else in the country is seeing it before we are. It helps us to get prepared, and I feel like we really are well prepared.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As I got back to my chair, I realized that I missed one big important number, and I got several texts on this. It says, Tim, what was the total dollar amount? We actually raised yesterday in that 10 hours was about $235,000. And we added that $35,000 on top of that, so we were at $260,000. As of today, we're at $272,000, and I hope we can get to $300,000 by the end of Sunday night. So thanks again.